beautiful people of the internet. My name is Ellie and bienvenidos to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be telling you 10 books that I am anticipating that have not been released yet. So this is a new series that I want to start on my channel where I tell you 10 books in different categories that I am anxiously awaiting to read that have not been released yet. This episode is going to be the YA episode. If you guys are excited to start this series with me, then go ahead and keep on watching. One of the books that I'm anticipating is Fat Girl on a Plane by Kelly DeVos, and this is a debut author. And this book actually comes out on June 5th, and this is a YA new adult contemporary. Our main character in this book she's big. She's a curvy woman, and this book is told in the perspective of her when she is big, and the other perspective is skinny. We follow our main character, whose name is Cookie, and she wants to become a fashion designer. She works at a fashion blog and she gets an opportunity to go to New York to pitch her portfolio for a scholarship to this school that she wants to go to. When Cookie goes to the airport to get on this plane, they tell her that she can't get on the plane because she is too fat. She ends up contacting a friend, and her friend is nice enough to lend her some money so she can buy a second seat on this plane so she can fit. She does end up going to New York, but when she gets there, she's surprised to find that she's been replaced by her boss's daughter. So she gets heartbroken, and then at that point she decides that she is going to completely change herself. She's gonna get skinny, get fit, so that way she can achieve her dream. However, we fast forward and she finds that after losing all the weight and her having such high hopes that her life was gonna change, things aren't going as well as she thought. Like, she thought that she would be happy, and she thought that her life was going to be different because now she's thin and that's considered beautiful, but she's not happy and things aren't going as well as she thought. This book is more about self-discovery. However you are, just love yourself, be happy with who you are. That comes out on June 5th. Next book that I'm anticipating is Sea Witch by Sarah Henning. This is also a debut author. This is a YA fantasy. It's another Little Mermaid retelling, except it's in the point of view and what happens to the sea witch. This actually comes out on July 31st. The cover for this is gorgeous. We follow a mermaid called Evie and her journey to try to save her best friend named Anna. So Evie has a friend named Anna who ends up drowning somehow, and Evie becomes an outcast. But one day Evie sees a human who looks very similar to her best friend Anna, and she is just convinced that this human is Anna, that Anna didn't die, she just became a human. The human denies that she's Anna. Both Evie and Anna end up falling in love with two different princes. Anna has her secrets and she can't stay human. She needs the help of Evie, who is a mermaid. If Evie wants to help Anna, she's gonna have to sacrifice herself, and she's gonna have to pay a really high price to help her supposed best friend. This is just a story of how the Sea Witch became a sea witch. Sea Witch coming out July 31st. So the third book that I'm anticipating is Murder Trending by Gretchen McNeil. This comes out on August 7th. This one is a YA mystery thriller. In this book, we follow Dee Guerrera. She wakes up in this warehouse and she doesn't know how she got there. However, in this world, there is an app called The Postman. So on this app, they're live streaming executions for criminals. This app is being filmed in a prison called Alcatraz 2.0. And She ends up in this warehouse because she believes that she has been falsely accused of a crime that she did not commit. She ends up befriending some people in this warehouse who ends up being called the Death Row Breakfast Club. If Alcatraz 2.0 didn't get you, Death Row Breakfast Club totally got me. She ends up making these friends and they're trying to help her to prove that she's innocent before the postman executioners get to them and start killing them. I like the premise. It kind of reminds me of the movie Death Race. That comes out on August 7th. Next one is The Raging Ones by Krista and Becca Ritchie, and they're actually identical twin sisters who co-wrote this book together. This is a YA sci-fi / fantasy, and this one comes out on August 14th. We get the point of view of 3 main characters. They have what is called their death day. When that day comes, like, you're supposed to die. These 3 main characters end up escaping their death day. They become fugitives. They start being chased, and their only way to survive is for them to leave the planet that they're on. And it just so happens that there is a mission that is going into space and there's one position open. So all these 3 are basically fighting for that one position so that way they don't die. So it's 3 people whose fate intertwines, and then it's just a battle of survival. That kind of reminds me of Adam Silvera's They Both Die at the End when they get their day phone calls. Kind of like the same premise. Comes out on August 14th. The next book that I want to read is To Be Honest by Maggie Ann Martin. This is another YA contemporary, and this comes out on August 21st. We follow this main character whose sister ends up leaving for college. So she's left on her own for 1 more year since she's about to go into her senior year of high school. However, her mom used to be overweight, but she ended up on a weight loss show and she lost a ton of weight. And after that, she became very overbearing and very insistent on her daughter to watch what she eats and to lose weight. During her senior year, she ends up meeting this new kid that comes into her school, and they both end up getting to know each other and just getting closer throughout the school year. It's basically about her and the new kid and their relationship and how it grows and her accepting herself for who she is. This just seems like another fluffy contemporary that I am excited to read. Next one, it's called Mirage by Samaya Daud, and this is her debut novel, and it is a YA fantasy / sci-fi. I believe it's going to be a series, and this comes out on August 28th. So this book centers around the main character. She lives in a star system that is dominated by a brutal empire. Her adventure begins when she gets kidnapped by the royal regime because she looks almost identical to the princess who needs a stand-in because she's hated that much. So she ends up becoming the body double to the princess because her family is being threatened if she does anything to try and escape. She has to live this impersonation, and she ends up taking an interest in the princess's fiance. And while she's there, she ends up finding that this regime is not what it seems. There's a lot of dangerous plots that are happening. It's just a lot of political intrigue. That one comes out on the 28th of August. Next book is Seafire by Natalie C. Parker. This is a YA fantasy. It is also categorized as LGBT, so there's going to be some LGBT representation in there. This is also, I believe, the beginning of a series. This one also comes out on the 28th of August. This book, we follow the main character who is called Caledonia, and she is after this man who basically destroyed her life, murdered her parents, and I believe he's some sort of pirate or something. She ends up becoming a captain of her own ship that is full of just women and girls who also want revenge against this one man who destroyed their lives. She is the captain of this all-female crew. Her second in command ends up getting hurt, but she survives because there's this guy who saves her. Because he saved her, she has a very big decision to make, whether to leave him or actually bring him onto the ship and possibly threaten their plan for revenge. Female captain, yes, I'm totally in. So next book is called Shadow of the Fox, and this is by Julie Kagawa. This is a YA fantasy, and I believe this is also going to be a series. This one comes out on October 2nd. We follow this main female protagonist whose name is Yumeko, and her temple has been burned to the ground by demons. But before it completely burns down, she runs to and protects their prized possession, which is a piece of a scroll. And there is a legend that once all these pieces are collected, they become the scroll that is called the Scroll of 1,000 Prayers, which once it has been completed, that scroll summons the great dragon from the sea and grants you a wish. Plot twist, she has powers to shapeshift into a fox. Yes, sign me up for that. Her master, who had taught her how to control her power and to hide it, he ends up dying in this fire along with her family. So she's the only sole survivor, and she protects this piece of the scroll because it is very important. While she's wandering, fate brings her in the path of a samurai who is also looking for these pieces of scroll, but he has strict orders to get rid of anybody in his way who has these pieces of scroll. She crosses his path, adventure ensues. I wish I could get an arc for this. Anything Japanese fairy tale, anything dealing with like gods, great dragons, wishes, especially knowing that she has powers to transform into a fox. Done. I'm out. You don't need to tell me anything else. This next one, no one's gonna be surprised. This one doesn't come out till October either. And this is What If It's Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. This is a YA contemporary, and it has LGBT representation in there. We're basically following Ben and Arthur, how they cross paths with each other at a post office while Ben has all of his ex-boyfriend's stuff in a box, getting ready to send it back. From there, it's just their story. It sounds like it has very good representation, and it just sounds like it's gonna be a very fluffy and funny and a very good contemporary, which comes out in October 9th. And we have come to my last book, which is Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Nan? I have no idea how to say that last name. I am so sorry. This is also another YA fantasy. This one also has LGBT representation. In this book, we are following our main character, whose name is Lei, and she is part of what they call the paper caste. That is the lowest class in this society. She lives with her father, and she has been scarred from when she was little, when her mom had been taken away to become the king's consort. The king has a harem where they teach you how to become a king's consort. The king ended up finding her eyes to be very mysterious. She has golden eyes that intrigued the king. So she ends up following her mother's footsteps and being taken away to go train in the castle to become a king's consort, which they call paper girls. While she's there in the castle, she ends up in a forbidden romance with probably one of the other females that's there. She ends up discovering a plot that can threaten her entire land, and she has to decide how far she's willing to go for justice and revenge. I am so intrigued by this. The cover is gorgeous. Those are the top 10 books that I have right now for YA that are not out yet and that I really want to read. What did you guys think of these books? Do you want to read any of these? I cannot wait for these to come out. I am so excited to read these. Let me know if you guys like this series, if you want me to continue with these. My next one I want to do is adult horror books. Let me know what you thought about this idea for a series that I want to do here on my channel. I love doing these, reading up on new releases that are happening, because I end up finding things that I thought I would never read. Leave your comments down below. Don't forget to hit that like button, and that subscribe button with that notification bell lets you know when I do upload. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. And until I see you again, I wish you nothing but happiness, great health, and I hope that you guys are enjoying your day, night, wherever you are. And I will see you guys in my next video.